Morning, guys. This is the third lesson on explain how the evidence is processed, AC 1.3. So just to remind you, this is what we've been looking at. So in the previous two lessons, you've looked at the physical evidence, of how we collect it, transfer, store, analyse, and the personnel involved. And now we're going to look at the testimonial evidence. It's obviously a little bit less structured than the collection of physical evidence, but still there are some rules to kind of abide by. So remember, this is just for 6 marks, and we'll look at kind of a controlled assessment practice next week when we're back in class / on Teams doing it from home. So what we'll kind of look at are these questions. So have a look at them and see if you think you know any of the answers. And basically the idea is that we'll answer those. Okay. So pause it and have a ponder. So testimonial evidence. So it is written or spoken statement given to the court by the witness, so to police officers and to, if they're in court, people in court. Okay. It can obviously, you can be a victim, a defendant, or a witness. Okay. So generally, if you're a witness, the police will come to you, or they'll ask you to come and see them. They'll ask you for descriptions and names of those involved, your role in the situation, details of anything you saw, and then the version of what happened. And once there's a written record, you sign it, check and prove that's what you say, and then in theory you're done and dusted if you are just a witness. Okay. You might have to give evidence in court to describe this if you've got vital information. You can be cross-examined, so people can say, "Oh, did you really see that? Did you really? Did you?" That kind of stuff have you probably seen on TV shows. And as a defendant, you can't testify yourself against other people. However, as a defendant, you can offer your alibi. Again, you'll be cross-examined. If you remain silent, that can infer guilt, kind of. We're going to come on to the next criteria. We're going to come on to the kind of the rights of all these different parties, and we'll do a bit more about that. It doesn't necessarily infer guilt, but if you don't say anything in your statement that you reveal, that is not a good sign. Okay, so obviously people who are vulnerable might be witnesses, victims, or defendants, and we have to be really careful with vulnerable people. So we're looking at children under 18, because you are a child until you're 18, but also people suffering from mental health issues, impairment in intelligences, or maybe from a physical disability that kind of affects their kind of day-to-day life. They might be vulnerable, and so we have to be careful how we interview people. And obviously, if we can kind of do a check, we will. But to interview vulnerable people, it's normally a video recording that will be relayed to court. Okay. You've been interviewed by special police officers, and trained people to kind of interview vulnerable people, and it'll be a lot more comfortable. Okay, you can have a person with you if you need it to be. Okay, so it's a lot more supportive. So yeah, quite often, like, TV screens are the kind of the way that this is kind of the evidence is shown, so vulnerable people don't have to testify in court. This isn't massively important, but just because someone says something, it doesn't mean it's true. So we have to be careful. Obviously, you have to tell the truth, but you can't use something called hearsay evidence, which is when, oh, my mate Bob said that his mum saw that his cat did that. Like, you can't just, you can only comment on things that you saw yourself or know yourself. Obviously, if there's any evidence has been forced out of a person, you can't use that. And also entrapment, when the police kind of make you do things, you can't use that evidence. So not all testimonial evidence can be used, but if it's done properly, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so there's not much in this testimonial evidence. Okay, so this is what you need to do for your file. Next, the next bit of work that needs to be done is just a documentary, and so I'll ping that over. Okay, so we're going to watch a documentary about some kind of physical evidence that was mishandled and inconclusive that was used in a trial. And what the plan is, when we're in class next week, we will kind of go back through this, not hugely slowly, so pretty quickly, but any of you can ask me any questions that you have about it, and I'll do my best to answer it. And then we'll do the assessment, and we'll have a look at suspects' rights and all the kind of legal stuff about what happens when we arrest someone. Obviously, very, 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 very topical at the moment. Okay. If you've got any questions about coming back, hopefully there'll be something out by the college really soon. If it's not already out by the time you listen to this, but just ask and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Okay. Cool. All right, and see some of you next week. Bye.